90% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move, whatever click you choose.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Yard down! Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on the intro like I keep telling y'all. The flow is nothing like Curtis Blow. If you want to check out more of my music, go to my YouTube playlist, scroll down to gas stations, and you will find a lot of my music there. Now, the other day, I was doing a story, and I talked about some of the more well-known West Coast rappers that I ran across. And somebody asked me, to tell a story about when I was locked up with the rapper Jay on felony. Well, we didn't really speak much. We spoke a time or two in passing, and one time we just happened to both be getting what is known as a package where you can order food from a vendor, and we really didn't speak a whole lot, right? But I do have a story a little bit more of when I ran across and met the rapper Trey D. Now, Trey D is a well-known West Coast veteran when it comes to the rap game. He was on the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. At one point in time, he was part of the LBC crew. He was also at one point in time signed to Death Row. He was on albums like Dog Food by the group Dog Pound, Dog Father with Snoop Dogg, and eventually he was in a rap group with Snoop Dogg, right? I believe one of the last projects he done was something called the Dirty OGs, where he was in a group with Corrupt, The Chill, Weasel Loke, and I think one more other person, right? So I say all that to say that, man, he's definitely a well-known staple in rapping, especially out here on the West Coast. And also, he was in the movie Baby Boy. And so how I ended up running across Trey D is I was at a prison known as CMC East. I want to say this is probably 2013, 2014. Now, by the time I ran across Trey D, I had really stopped rapping in prison, right? Like I said, at that time, I had life. I didn't think that I was going to come home, and I had just got a little burnt out on rapping in prison. After a while, even though there's 32, 33 prisons in the California prison system, when you rap in prison, and you happen to be good or whatever, sometimes those who like rapping, because back in those days, we would have a lot of dudes rapping on the yards. We'd have little ciphers. We'd have dudes out there beatboxing and stuff. A good friend of mine who used to beatbox for hours and hours, man, rest in peace, man, is my boy Stacks from ABC, man. So, yeah, rest in peace to Stacks. But you would have a lot of us out there in these little rap ciphers, rapping and stuff. And so, of course, if people happen to like your music, eventually your name gets around, regardless of how many prisons that they have in the California prison system, because people leave, they transfer. They say, hey, man, you may have heard this rapper. You may have heard this rapper. One rapper whose name that I always heard too and never met was a dude by the name of Big June from San Diego. So shout out to him as well, After a while, man, I would encounter people and they would say, oh, damn, man, you chill. You don't want to be rapping. And sometimes they would want to battle me or want me to hear they rap. And after a while, with me just never expecting to get out, that became a little tiresome. By the time when I ran across him, like I say in 2014, I had pretty much stopped rapping. I had won a few rap contests up there in CMC, maybe a few years before that, right? So now you had dudes who actually knew me from other prisons when Trey D came, they wanted, they introduced me to him and say, hey, what's up? This is Chill or whatever. This is Trey D. Like, Chill, rap for him, spit a rap for him. And I was like, oh, nah, man, I'm cool. Plus, I just assumed that Trey D, being who he was, a well-established rapper and also a rapper who was in a group, or at one point in time was in a group with Snoop Dogg. He ain't trying to hear dudes rap. He's there doing his time like anybody else, man. I'm assuming just out of how many people would come up to me wanting to rap for me, and I'm not signed with no label. I don't own no label. I can't do nothing for him. So I'm just assuming it must have been 100 times worse for him, right? And so, like I say, I'm just there doing my time, and he's doing his time, right? In the event I did happen to meet him, I just wanted it to be an organic, natural meeting. You know what I'm saying? Not just, hey, I'm running up to him like, hey, man, let me rap. And then, to keep it 100, shit, at the time, he was in jail just like I was in jail. And also, I have been rapping for a long, long time. I want to say since maybe like 1983, 1984 now. A lot of you guys may not remember. That was way back when the time when you didn't have a lot of rappers. People would be surprised that a person knew how to rap way back then, and especially me being so small, people were surprised when they found out that I could rap. And so, of course, through the course of time, people telling me, okay, man, I'm gonna take you to meet this person, I'm gonna take you to meet that person. I've been hearing that pretty much my whole entire rapping life. Even once I came to prison, you would meet dudes who say, my homie, he got a record company out there, my homie got a group, I know this rapper, I know that rapper, I'm gonna put you in with him and stuff like that. So after a while, when none of that stuff pans out, by that time, I had just became a little bored with hearing the stuff, unimpressed by it, however you want to say it, right? And so, like I said, I wasn't in a big hurry to, meet Trey D and try to rap for him for many reasons. Like I said, one being I had a life sentence. I didn't plan on going nowhere. And by that time, I kind of became disenchanted with rapping, trying to be the hardest rapper on the yard, or being concerned with who's the hardest rapper, so on and so forth, right? And so every now and then I might see him on the yard in passing, I say what's up to him, whatever now. So one day, maybe about 2 or 3 months after he got there, he came to me and asked me if I happened to have a Dr. Dre The Chronic instrumental, right? Because due to the fact that I did rap, at one point in time, I used to order a lot of instrumental CDs. So I probably had about 10 instrumental CDs, right? And so he asked me if I had it, or maybe somebody had told him that I had it or whatever, right? So I said, yeah, he wanted to borrow it. So I gave it to him. The reason he wanted to borrow that CD, he was making a mixtape known as Long Beach State of Mind. And he was making the mixtape, of course, from prison. It was him, a few of his homies, and I think it was a Damu dude on there too as well, right? And I suggest you guys go check that out. The mixtape was extremely hard, actually. It's 2 songs. The whole tape is hard, right? But it's 2 songs on there that I really like. It's a song by Big P.D. called L.A. County.
It's the anthem for the streets, so I'll open up the verse. Reppin' Long Beach, one of LA County's worst. Olive at 21st is the hardest on earth, but you act 6-0 and they swear it's Brian Hurt. With kids dying first, many years ahead of the ones who gave birth to them and tucked them in bed. The feds got the city and Watts under surveillance. Cops scared to walk the projects without a sailor. Compton got a cold crime rate, hands down. It ain't enough crime scene, take the go around. With hella brown pride from the city to the valley. Cause every south side got roots in Mexicali.
Then it's another song with Big P.D. And Trey D called Box Full of Letters.
And fuss about the people who done left them in the wind. When will it get better? When will it ever end? Reading kite at the kite pad with regret. Peeping old black and white on G's from the set. Who done told the next man about being a winner and been a rat their whole life like Master Splinter. I remember I used to want to see like cuz all the time he's a rat who done talked to the fuzz back in the 80s and got a rider doing the bid, but we was babies so we ain't have a clue what he did. Man, whoop-de-whoop snitching. Today is so common throughout heavy prison like a pack of top ramen. Found out my comrade telling undercover, giving up babies like an unfit mother.
Big P.D., it was said, I don't know how true this is because I spoke to him several times as well. Me and him was also, we had an all right relationship. It was said that he, at one point in time, was signed to Star Trek records with Pharrell, right? I don't know how true that is, but a lot of people said that he was, and unfortunately, he ended up coming to prison, I believe, with a life sentence, right? Back to Trey D, right? Trey D was man, he was just a regular convict, right? When it came to just on the yard, I never seen him rapping on the yard. He was just out there chilling. He liked to play handball, and eventually we got all right. We talk a little bit here and there, and we played some basketball together. He was very passionate about his basketball, and like I say, he was real cool, laid back, just a regular dude. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time actually, one of my homies had came to visit me. We was out there on a visit, and my homie said, man, it's something about, maybe I heard Trey D is up here or something like that. I said, there we go, right there. My homie's like, oh man, you think it would be cool if I go over and say hi? But I was like, nah, I think he's probably out there. He's out here visiting his family, and by me just being locked up, I know when I'm out there on visits, and my family come, I like to dedicate and devote all my time to him. Though later on, once we got back to the yard a day or two later, I told him, hey man, my homie seen you. He wanted to come say hi. He was like, oh man, he could have came over and said hi or whatever, right? So he was a real cool, down to earth dude. Now, I think it was like a big difference, Mike, a big difference with being on the yard also with Trey D, because Trey D, to a lot of dudes who were in that gang life, was more than just a rapper. Actually, he wasn't, he was more viewed as a gangster who really just happened to rap. If you were in that gang life and you knew certain individuals, or if you happen to be from Long Beach or whatever, then his reputation definitely preceded him when it came to being a real quote unquote stand-up gangster.
Oh yeah, man, I'm trying to keep this big ass 4-4 tucked in, man. Oh yeah, let's phone and everything. Okay,
gonna fly some for the MGTV.
Come on now, it's real.
That's the real shit.
They know Big Trey D stay heavy every time.
That's the real Trey.
You know that.
That's the real Trey. He just got out the county. That's right. And ready to touch down. Ain't out here slipping. All right, my nigga.
I'd done a story one time talking about the biggest Crip that I ever saw. His name was Dan Tanner, and he was from Long Beach Insane, which also is the same neighborhood and gang that Trey D happens to be from. And Dan Tanner and Trey D were childhood friends, grew up with each other, so on and so forth. So, I had heard of Trey D also through Dan Tanner, and he is definitely a certified real quote unquote gangster, right? And so that was the thing too. Sometimes in the course of doing time in prison, you would hear about certain Crips or Bloods who actually had, a well-known reputation in the streets for being, stand-up dudes with the business, so on and so forth. So sometimes when you would run across those dudes, it was like, it was almost kind of like surreal being on the yard with a person you had heard so much about. Like, there were times when I would run across dudes who I read about in that Monster Cody book. So I think a lot of dudes also looked up to Trey D because of that, because of his reputation for being a real stand-up dude that was with the business, right? Just so happened, I happened to have a homie there at that time too. He was from San Bernardino. He told me about a time when he was in the county jail, and just so happened Trey D happened to be in the county jail, the San Bernardino County Jail. But Trey D, of course, for those who don't know, is from Long Beach, which is in Los Angeles County, right? So it may or may not been a lot of Long Beach dudes in the county jail at that time. But when my homie told me this story, he definitely didn't mention it if there was, right? But he was telling me about a time basically when Trey D was banging on some dudes, right, in the county jail. And so he wasn't banging on one dude, he was banging on a group of dudes by himself, you know what I'm saying? And according to my homie, the dudes that he was banging on didn't want no parts of Trey D. So, he definitely, man, is a real gangster, right? I remember also there was a time while we was there. Now, CMC has these extremely small cells, and a lot of the prisons, they have cells, the walls are made of like cement. You could be beating on the wall or have your music up real loud, and due to the thickness of the walls, it would be hard to hear next door. But CMC is not like that. The cells are very thin, and if and it's 3 tiers in CMC. So if you happen to be on cell 22 on the bottom, it's a second tier and a third tier. So if you happen to be on cell 22 on the second or the third tier, you can get in the vent and you can talk in the vent, and the people on the second tier and the first tier can hear you. So also, if you're beating on the table, it echoes and vibrates all the way down. Now, so there was a dude up there beating on the table. Now, I guess this dude was in his cell rapping, a young dude who really didn't know. And Trey D didn't know who the dude was, didn't know if he was young or whatever. So he was beating on the table rapping, and I believe he had some headphones on, right? So Trey D hollered up a time or two, hey man, can you stop, whoever that is beating, can you stop beating on the tables like that? The youngster didn't realize, man, that it was making all that noise and at least disturbing those people connected to those cells. And like I said, once again, Trey D didn't know the dude was a youngster or actually who the hell the dude was. But at some point, man, he got irritated and he stepped out and he said, hey, to whoever to the homosexual is, cuz that keep beating on the table, cuz stop all that beating, you punk homosexual, and just went big, you know what I'm saying? Went big, and so basically, he was just putting it out there to whoever it is, cut that shit out, you know what I'm saying? And so when you do something like that, it's basically like, it's whatever. If you don't like what I said, come holler at me, right? And so I think the dude, some type of way, he ended up hearing, right? The young dude, and I believe he happened to be from Richmond. He was from up north somewhere, most definitely. He happened to hear, and he came down and he apologized. He said, hey man, I didn't realize it was disturbing you. And then I guess the time or two that Trey D had said, hey man, can you stop doing that? By him having the headphones on, he didn't hear, right? But yeah, man, Trey D was definitely, definitely a real dude, cool, calm, down to earth, but by no means was he no studio gangster. He was definitely with the business, man. So anyway, right there, that's just a short story of how I ran across Trey D. I never did spit any raps for him. We never rapped together, but like I say, we talked a little bit, played a little basketball. He liked to play a lot of handball. I didn't play handball. My partner was always trying to get me to rap for him, man. My partner E. So what's up, man? Shout out to my boy E. I've been knowing E for a long, long time too as well. Me and E was together in Ironwood when I had won several rap contests down there, right? And so he always wanted me to spit something for Trey D. Anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.
I don't want to be a product of my environment.
Tears falling on the floor.
I want my environment to be a product of me.
Tears falling on the floor for you.
I done lost too many homies from the park in my lifetime. Look in my heart and ain't no telling what you might find. The streets turned it cold and dark as the nighttime. I stay strapped, get at me like a mark, I'm a light mine. Push the cold line for the set, yeah that's straight facts. Now I'm wise and living with regrets, and I hate that. The judge gave me 16 to life cause I ate that. I walked off 24 flat and came straight back. Right to the turf where some swear it ain't safe at. Raised up in church, but this Glock is where my faith at. I really play ball, Earl Walton, Chris Meshack, Don Leary, K Love, you know I gotta say black. I never made the pack train by Coach Smith. I was on George selling crack, stacking cheese on the dope shift. The sawed off gauge up my sleeve made my coat stiff like Jimmy Lee and Emery. I was quick to smoke shit. I ain't talking dope, bitch, cause time wasn't scaring me. Cross the line, I'ma pop the 9, that's a guarantee. I wouldn't lie cause they never gave me therapy. It fucked up my mind and I'm still praying for clarity. They locking up our kind, I don't like the disparity. They'll give a nigga life before they give a nigga charity. The streets was my wife though, I begged the hoe to marry me. And now I'm dedicated in this life until they bury me. Reality, I wish I never spent a day in it. I advise all my young homies not to play in it. I promise when they put you in that dirt, you gon' stay in it. Pastor Thomas opened up the church, I need to pray in it. His mama dropped enough tears to fill a coffee cup. Started to shout and passed out when his coffin shut. She going crazy cause her baby stuck. She prayed to God all her life and now she feel he never gave a fuck. His mama dropped enough tears to fill a coffee cup. Started to shout and passed out when his coffin shut. She going crazy cause her baby stuck. She prayed to God all her life and now she feel he never gave a fuck. My little homie didn't get the message. Now his family stressing in the church pews. Tears dropping on their dresses and their church shoes. Asking God to help us please and guide us through this worst news. His mama got weak in the knees soon as she saw his earth move. She hurt and confused. Her son Nate was only 17. Now she's struggling with her faith and asking what do heaven mean. Every night in every dream she see him in the graveyard. The pain hurt her deep. She losing sleep and make her days hard. Can't stop her tears. Her thoughts got suicidal fast. Went to church for 30 years and threw her Bible in the trash. And every day she asked if God really exists, then why he let him do her baby like this? She yelling damn, damn, damn with closed fists like she Florida Evans. Middle fingers pointed up at the heaven. She said fuck God, the church, and the reverend cause her soul was hurt. Her baby rotting in that hole in the dirt. I saw my homies hold a funeral at the church. We used to sing it in the angel choir. I swear it hurts and I'm just hoping that eternal fire ain't their destiny. Lord knows I'd be a liar if I said this life ain't got the best of me. And I ain't tired seeing my homies expire dying young at a rapid rate. I went to jail, caught an L and watched the love evaporate. Saw homies who was active go out backwards and deactivate. I knew that they was actors when them actors started acting fake. Jealousy, cap and hate and all the above got me feeling cuz where is the love? Nigga, you know all your life I run up on you, fill your head with a slug and leave you dead in the back of the club. Emilio, rest in peace. Wrestling with this life is a beast and Lord knows there's nothing nice in these streets. Just niggas with poles, they heart is cold and they be dying to beef. And leave your mama sad crying with grief. His mama dropped enough tears to fill a coffee cup. Started to shout and passed out when his coffin shut. She going crazy cause her baby stuck. She prayed to God all her life and now she feel he never gave a fuck. His mama dropped enough tears to fill a coffee cup. Started to shout and passed out when his coffin shut. She going crazy cause her baby stuck. She prayed to God all her life and now she feel he never gave a fuck.